Yes, Samson, this is organized crime. It's organized crime that is very deep-rooted, and it's rotten to the core. It starts from ECG and ends up at the ports. So it's something that is extremely serious. Okay? Let's look at ECG as an institution, because that is really the crux of the problem. Without all the lapses and all the collusion and things going on there, we would not be where we are now, which is in a very sorry and sad state, okay, to all of our detriment. Look at the kinds of monies that are being mentioned. We need that money. There's so much that we have to do as a nation. And the president has inherited practically nothing, you know, and debt upon debt upon debt. And why is that the case? Because a few selfish people consistently keep deciding that they can just help themselves to garner money. And enough is enough. How can someone be sitting? First of all, they don't believe they are subjected to the procurement laws. Sami addressed that issue. I mean, I find that argument extremely problematic. And it is sad that an attorney general in this country actually came up with an opinion to that effect. How can you say you're not subjected to the procurement law? You are a public institution. You only have one shareholder. That shareholder is government. That shareholder is government. You are, you know, public funds. The act is very clear. It's very clear. It's public funds, whether it's internally generated, whether it's a grant, whether it's a loan, etc., etc. It's all public funds. And also, if you look at the institutions which have been exempted, like the banks, I mean, we can all see why. They are operating purely in a competitive environment with other banks. Some of them are even foreign with parents with very deep pockets. So they have to be freed up to go and pursue the business of banking. But you are a near monopoly, if not a monopoly. All of us here in this building, we all buy our electricity from ECG. So we don't have a choice. We have to go there. So, I mean, I find that argument fallacious, is problematic, and it shouldn't even be entertained at all. And also, one more thing I'll say to that is that ECG itself knows that it is subjected to these rules. If not, why would you consistently, over the years, keep going to an institution called the Public Procurement Authority of Ghana to seek exemptions if you don't believe you are subjected to the rules? It doesn't make sense. If you believe you're exempt, why go there? What are you going there to do? And then you continue, they say no, and you just ignore it. I mean, you're a state-owned enterprise. How do you ignore the laws that you're supposed to be setting an example? How do you ignore the laws of the state? So, and then the CEO, I understand, has a personal limit of $1 million. That's over 15 million Ghana cedis. Over 15 million. So he can sit in his office and decide to. So I want to know who arrogated that authority to him. Was the board involved? And in all of this, I haven't heard anyone mention the board. Look, under the Companies Act, the obligations, the duties, the responsibilities of directors are very clear. They owe a fiduciary duty to the company and by extension to all of us as Ghanaians, since it's a public entity. So where are the directors in all of this? How do you go and approve a company to go and do clearance which doesn't even have a license? I mean, the lapses are so many. It's you know, so yes. I mean, and when you hear these values, it's just chilling. You know, it's mind-blowing. So I'm very happy with what the minister is doing. I commend him for it. And I think he has to drill down and find these things out. Everything in the port is electronic, so it can be traced.
Yeah. Right.
It's very clear, and I don't think it takes
actually,
long.
the former MD, Samuel Dubik, says the point you just made. He says, even if it is lost at sea, you will be notified because it has a unique number that can be tracked anywhere. So did they track the numbers and they didn't find them, or they are just resorting to the fiscal count? Containers that are in the custody of customs and Ghana Port and harbors. What does that have to do with ECG? Did the containers get missing in the custody of ECG? The investigative team never contacted me. Meanwhile, I have not gone anywhere, and I won't go anywhere. So what was the rationale behind that? If they wanted to do a thorough investigation, they should have called me.
I don't even know where to begin with this one, because what he's saying, yes, it got, if you look, it's a very simplistic argument. Let me start off on that basis. Very simplistic argument. If he doesn't see the correlation between what is happening in ECG and says it has nothing to do with them, then I have very big problems with that. Okay. And I think every well-meaning Ghanaian who loves their country will have a problem with it. You are the MD of ECG. You are the ultimate, you know, other than the board under which you operate, you are responsible for everything that happens. He himself should be able to answer some of these questions. He should be able to answer some. And then you say it's pressure from above. And I don't understand why we feel that if you're occupying a public seat and someone is exerting pressure on you, okay, someone is exerting pressure on you to do something which you believe goes against the company's fiduciary interest or your duties as CEO or MD, you feel glued to that. Nobody is gluing you to the seat. If you feel strongly about it, do what other people do in other countries. Resign. Okay. As long as you stay there, it is no argument.
In Ghana, we don't know how to
come
resign.
Back. This is the problem. So don't complain.
All right.
Don't complain. You accept the responsibility and you get punished for it if you are found to be culpable. Okay. You cannot sit there, do the wrong thing, and then say you are being forced to do the wrong thing, and then expect Ghanaians to say, "Oh, pressure, no, you know, no shit," or whatever.
Beyond the criminal investigations, the procurement expert Kobna Atabedu has been saying there ought to be a forensic audit. Yeah. He was on our platform, and he pointed to numerous, you know, governance issues and procurement infractions under the PMF and the PPA. And the Companies Act as well. Would you say we should do more than just criminal investigations?
I think we need to, I think we definitely have to do the forensics. And I would want a wide scope. Okay. Right from the personnel at ECG who were involved in this, management and anybody else, the board itself, who authorized these things, who ordered them, and who authorized that order. And then you go to the financials and the regular things. And also one thing we probably don't, we need to let the public know more of is the Whistleblowers Act.
Correct.
You know, because people don't do the linkage, you know, so we need to probably do some kind of exercise to educate Ghanaians on how that works so that they'll feel emboldened to blow the cover on some of these things for us to see. So yes, yes, criminal investigations definitely, and the consequences have to be seen through. I mean, we have, I think the act will probably need to also be changed. 5 years imprisonment fine, but there's also the 2,500 penalty units. I don't know whether one penalty unit is still 12 cedis.
It's still 12 Ghana cedis.
If it is, then it's about 30,000 cedis, if my math is correct.
That's right.
And so that is not a big enough deterrent. So that financial penalty has to be, I mean, look at the kinds of monies we're talking about versus 30,000 cedis. So we need to look at some of these things. Look at the procurement, look at the procurement regime as a whole, and then see where we have weaknesses, strengthen those weaknesses, look at institutional and regulatory gaps, and see how we can close some of these gaps.
All right.
Yeah, Thank
you.